Hi, Matt from Invariant here, and welcome to the tutorial video on using the distance markers in RapidPlan. The distance marker tools in RapidPlan are useful for measuring between delineation devices, work zones, and other work-related objects you may have on your plan. To access your distance markers, just come over to the Tools palette here, and then hover over the Markers tab. You'll see that you've got a number of tools there at your disposal. I'll cover each of these now so that you know how they can be used on your plan. The first tool I'll start with is the Combined Distance Marker tool. Simply just left click to start using it on your plan, and to start your first point of the distance marker, just left click and you'll see that the distance marker will start measuring out. Now, as you can see, the measurements are hard to eyeball, so with the use of the dimension input panel, it will make this a little bit easier. To use the dimension input panel, just simply type in your desired distance. So for example, for this demonstration I'll type 40 feet, hit enter, and you'll see that I can click out the distance at any given angle. To draw the measurements straight, just hold down the shift key and then left click to start your next measurement. The next measurement will be 70 feet. Hit enter, and then you can keep doing the same for your next measurement. And once you've hit your final point, just a right click to finish using the tool, and then we have our measurements laid out. So you can move this drawn measurement tool around to where you need it. So for example, I can now draw in my work zone as I know where it needs to be. And then also the tapering of my delineation devices. You can then go in and customize your work zone and delineators as needed. So that's just a demonstration of one of the combined distance marker tools. So we have other tools available, which I'll show you now, but you can use the dimension input panel to measure out all of your measurements also. So the next one I'll show you is just your standard distance marker tool. So this can come in handy anywhere really. For example, if I'm needing to measure out a worker sign from the curb, simply just a left click to start. Might be, for example, 25 feet. Just a left click to finish, and a right click to finish using the tool. I can then drop the sign onto the plan where it's needed and rotate. So that's just your standard distance marker tool for just measuring between two different points. We've also got the angle marker, so you can measure an angle between two different areas. So for example, it might be beneficial between the curb of a road here. So I've just started my angle here. So you just measure out three different points. So for example, I can measure the angle of the side of the road here. There'll be different use cases for each of these distance markers, but these are just some examples here that may assist you. We've also got your combined offset distance marker. So for example, I've done this one here. It's pretty much the same, but you can offset the distances to the right hand side. So if I just try and replicate what I've done here, once you hit the final point, you can right click to offset the distances to the right of the plan or the left of the plan, wherever it's needed. So this is useful if you're wanting to put signs on the points of here and then offset the distances to the right. So as you can see, you can customize the distance markers as needed. The final one that we've got here is the area marker. So you can measure the square footage or meterage of a specific area. So if you're wanting to measure just, for example, this area in the middle here, you can simply just do a click for each point to measure out the square footage of that area. So the measurements that I've got in here and that I've used for this demonstration have been in accordance to the scale that I set during my plan detail stage. So you can see a video on the plan detail stage in our quick start guide. Feel free to visit that on our YouTube channel. If you are a new user, we do recommend watching that video to help you get started. That sums up using the distance markers in RapidPlan. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe below to be updated on new content at Envirian.